Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to build a really niche little coral and seagrass farm in your Bedrock Edition worlds. This little farm is kinda silly to build, but it does have a lot of use cases that you might not think about. You'll get 21 different items from this farm, 20 different types of coral that you can use for decoration or that you can use in your mob farms, and of course you'll get seagrass, which you can use for decoration, turtle breeding, and turtle farms. So although this is a very niche and likely not needed farm, it does have a lot of surprising use cases that you might not have thought about. So hopefully you enjoy this build. Let's take a closer look at this coral farm, shall we? As you can see, there's not really that much to it. We have a watery area in here to grow all of the seagrass and the corals. This is being bone mealed from the underside with a bone meal dispenser. We have some water streams and some walls and hoppers in order to collect all of the items, and as you can see, we've got a little bit of storage here as well. As you can see, you get a ton of different corals, coral fans, and all of that good stuff from this farm, including, of course, seagrass. In total, you'll get 10 different types of alive corals from this, which you can see here. All 5 of the coral fans, and all 5 of the normal corals. Of course, if you plant those down not in water, then they'll die and turn into the dead versions. So overall, that's already 20 different items that you get from the farm, and 21 if you include the seagrass. This is also a fully AFK-able coral farm as well, so as you can see, we have a rail line out the front here. All you gotta do is sit in this thing, hold down your mine button, and then you can basically go AFK for as long as you like. The minecart will travel over the detector rails, which will then power the bone meal dispensers and grow up all of your seagrass and corals. So there's a couple of different tools that you can use when using this farm, and each different tool will give you different items from the farm. So if you only want to get the corals and coral fans, then ideally you should use an enchanted hoe. Hoes swing a lot faster than like a pickaxe, for example, so that allows you to get more items faster. This does need to be enchanted with a silk touch in order to get the corals, of course, and that will allow you to only get corals when using the farm and no seagrass. If you only want to get seagrass when using the farm and no corals, then you will need to use just a regular pair of shears, which will break rather quickly, of course, as you can see. And then if you want to get both corals and seagrass when using the farm, you need to use an enchanted pair of shears with a silk touch and probably unbreaking so that they last a little bit longer. Of course, enchanted shears isn't going to be good for everyone. You're likely going to have to be in the late game with a nice villager trading hall for enchanted shears to be a viable option. There's also a couple of different ways to use this farm, and they'll give you 2 different rates. There's the fully AFK way, which I've been showing throughout this video, where you just run in the minecart and then punch all the things directly in front of you. This is a fully AFK way of doing things, and it works quite well. However, that'll produce around 2,000 or so of the coral fans per hour. I didn't count the other items like seagrass or the normal corals because, well, those are mostly for decoration, but the coral fans, that is what I'm going off of for these rate tests. Now, the other way of using this farm is to put a couple of blocks right here temporarily, and then swap out these detector rails for some pressure plates, and then simply run back and forth. And doing this, which is a lot more manual, mind you, will actually give you about 3,600 drops per hour. As you can see, it is almost double as fast as the minecart version, but of course this is way more manual. If you just need a couple of coral fans, maybe like a stack or 2, then this can be a good way of doing things, but otherwise I would suggest just using the AFK method. So let's talk uses of the corals real quick. Really, the only reason why I'm making this tutorial is because the coral fans are extremely useful in various mob farms. So if you haven't seen my recent mob farm tutorial, then you might not know about this, but coral fans actually act as full blocks to mobs, and mobs think that they can walk on top of them, and then of course they fall down into your kill chamber or whatever you want here. As you can see from this very basic demonstration, the zombie is going to try and walk towards the villager and fall directly downwards into our kill chamber here. Without these coral fans, the zombie would not do that because of course there's nothing for him to stand on, and then as soon as you add the coral fans, then suddenly there's something for the zombie to stand on. Now, in previous updates, we used to use buttons to do this exact same thing, thing, but as you can see, that no longer works and is no longer an option. They also just fixed a bug in the most recent update, allowing coral farms to actually exist and be functional, so really it's the perfect storm of reasons to create this little tutorial. A real quick bug alert for the 1.16.220 update and beyond. There is a little bit of a visual glitch when riding inside of a minecart. If you look about even with the horizon, as you can see, the minecart renders directly in front of your face, which is really annoying, of course. So if you're using the farm and you notice that you can't see anything, just look down a little bit and that will not render directly in front of your face. And let's hop into the tutorial, shall we? For your convenience, there's going to be a full materials list down in the description of the video in case you are interested. And the first thing that you need to do is find yourself a warm ocean biome. This is a biome where you would likely see some of the dolphins spawning, maybe some turtles, or even some tropical fish if you are lucky. And really the important thing is that you bone meal the ground of the ocean below where you want to build the farm. So as long as you are getting corals when you bone meal the ocean floor, then you are good to go. If all you get is seagrass when you bone meal the floor of the ocean, then you're in a bad area and you want to build somewhere else. From here, we're going to go to the surface of the water, so find yourself a tall piece of kelp or just pillar up from the bottom of the ocean, and we need 2 slabs along, a solid block, another 2 slabs, another solid block, and then another 2 slabs like so. On either end of the slab line, just go ahead and put solid blocks up into the diagonal, and then we want levers, powered rails, normal rails, and then detector rails on all of these solid blocks just like so, and that is going to be the rail line for your minecart more or less. Now we're going to flip around to the back side of this and place a couple of slabs on the underside of all of this right here for our redstone. And now we're going to go ahead and place in 2 repeaters on 4 ticks coming out of both of these detector rails right here. And those are going to be pointing directly into observers like so. And then you want yourself some dispensers out the back side of those observers facing upwards just like so. And now's a great time to fill these in with some bone meal. We don't actually need these slabs underneath the observers. Those are just there to make placement a little bit easier for you. And now we're going to fill in our dirt platform. So you need a 3 deep dirt platform going all the way across like so, and then basically just extend that 1 block to either side of these dispensers, and in total that should be a 6 by 3 dirt platform. And that is the foundation of your coral farm. We're now going to go ahead and install 6 slabs across the front side of that dirt platform, and then put some buttons on top of those as well to prevent water from flushing out all of your rails. Go ahead and put a temporary block right here, and then a double chest for some storage. You can of course expand that storage into whatever you like. Go ahead and put 2 hoppers into the back side of that chest, and then an additional hopper right there. We want 3 walls across that, and then go ahead and make this 3 blocks tall as well, and that is going to direct all of the items directly into your hoppers. That way you don't lose any into the ocean. We're going to go ahead and put a layer of planks across this backside here. We're using planks because that is a very slow thing to mine with a hoe or a pair of shears. You could put cobblestone here or really anything that is difficult to mine. As long as it's not something fragile like glass, then you'll be fine. Basically, the idea is don't accidentally break it when using the farm. We're also going to put some more planks into this area right here, and a final plank right there as well. Now go ahead and put the wall going 2 blocks tall all the way around this entire build, just like so, and this is going to contain all of your water. And that's what it should look like when it is done. Keep in mind, you don't need these 2 blocks right here. Those can be filled in if you want, however. Now we're going to fill this thing with some water, so grab some temporary blocks and fill them going in all the way across this layer right here, basically right in the middle of the farm. And then we're going to put 2 water sources there, and that is going to flush all the way to the left side, and that's going to push all of your items into item collection, basically. Go ahead and remove all of your temporary blocks, and that should flood directly downwards. And then if we go ahead and bone meal this area, that's going to give us a bunch of seagrass, which should turn this entire lower area into some water sources. If it doesn't turn into water sources, or if this little mechanic changes in the future, then all you need to do is put water sources all along this back wall right here, and all along this wall right here as well, and that'll turn everything into water sources. Be careful not to flood your walls, hoppers, or buttons, of course. But that is your farm completely done and dusted, and it's now ready to be used. A couple of last minute touches to the farm. If you notice that you're getting aquatic mobs spawning inside of your farm, then all you need to do is put a small roof above the build. So go ahead and just place some solid blocks going above every single one of your water sources. These solid blocks can be located anywhere above the farm, all the way up to sky limit. As long as you got some solid blocks here, that will prevent anything and everything from spawning inside of your coral farm. If you want an automatic way to refill your bone meal dispensers, all you need is a couple of hoppers right here, and then a chest above that, and then swap out one of your planks for a stair. Make sure to use a stair, because if you use a slab, then that'll allow some of the items from your farm to land on top of the chest, and you'll lose some items. But now you can go ahead and fill this thing up with bone meal, and you have an automatic bone meal storage. If you ever want to upgrade your storage, or if you notice that it's getting backed up whenever you're using silk touch shears, then all you need to do is lower this double chest by a block, like so. Put some hoppers going directly downwards into that chest, and then put some hoppers going into the back side of the chest as well, and that is going to be some 4 times speed storage. You may also need to do that with another chest right here. Hopper going down into it, hopper going to the backside like so, and then another hopper going into the backside like that, and that'll give you 6 times speed storage, which should be more than enough to collect all of the seagrass and corals when using enchanted silk touch shears, or when doing long AFK sessions. And that's gonna do it for today's Bedrock Edition tutorial. I hope you have enjoyed this really niche tutorial, and hopefully you get some use out of this coral and seagrass farm. I know it doesn't have a ton of uses, but maybe you'll find something cool to do with it. If you did enjoy this video, then consider leaving a like, as it really does help out the video and the channel a ton. If you're new here, then of course consider subscribing as well, so you don't miss future content and tutorials on the channel. And otherwise, I'll see you guys down in the comment section, and in the next one. Thank you so very much for watching, and then there was silence.